fish-eyed fool. You miserable old snagger-tooth jackass. You ignorant old bum. You beady-head old pickle-eyed fool. You are unholy sinner and a heathenish foul Philistine. You bean-eating bear hugger. You a heathen, Fred Sanford. Old senile heathen. I'll unscrew your arm from your shoulder and beat your brains out. You just keep sucking on that sucker. And when I pull your chain, you bark. Woodrow, put that bottle down before I unscrew your wrist. I'd bust your eyeball. Twist his head until it unscrews. I'll get some sticks and stones and break your bones. And the name that'll hurt you will be Esther.
In the morning, you got me up, all cause you need to talk. To 4 in the evening, wanna break up, say that you've had enough. I'm tired of talking, again and again, argue about everything. You are my darling, this kiss and make up, I know you wanna touch. You call me every night, call me every day, I just wanna get you alone now. Trust me when I say, we gon' be okay, we just gotta boom bada boom ba. I don't wanna fight, you know that I'm right. Baby, let me talk to your body. We gon' be okay, hear me when I say.
Warning, you are about to enter a territory that's designated by men for all men. And while my platform is clearly designated for all men, many times I will be talking about issues that are endemic only to men of the ADOS descent. If you are a woman coming into the Kosher Clinician Show, understand that these topics are topics that are more or less salient to male issues. You need to be mature. You need to be open-minded. You need to listen. To those that think that because they come or allow women to come in this space, that this space will be compromised for the sake of beauty, image, or more or less chicanery of any form, you will be greatly deceived. My platform is designed to empower men and to empower good women that are trying to find resolve. And while my channel is designated primarily for the functioning of male rights and male empowerment, it is good and clear for balance to hear a different perspective. You have been warned. If listening to the Kosher Clinician is not advantageous to your psyche, please exit left.
Ma jolie, oh ma jolie. Ah yeah, eh. Every time I come around you, baby girl, something doesn't feel the same. You said that I'm changing, but it's really you. I see how you play those games. Wifey type for a main man. A queen can make moves, a king can't. Snatch you up, now you taking. Gave you bricks, now you building a wall up, wall up. Lately you and I've been all love, all love. I don't know what's up with our love. You forgetting all about us, oh. My jolie, where are you? When I need you the most, you still MIA. This is murder, heart is melting, girl, you got me. Called your bluffing, made you something, now you talking. Telling me to cool it off, cool it off. How can I cool it off, cool it off? Telling me to cool it off, cool it off. How can I cool it off, cool it off? Oh, my jolie, oh, my jolie. My jolie, oh, my jolie. You don't turn on me now. You don't get no time for me now, babe. Got him on a rebound, but it's only you that I like, babe. Tout ce que j'ai fait c'était pour toi. Sur le haut parle mais t'écoutes pas. Tu me vois crever mais tu bouges pas. Pourquoi? Whoa, yo, wall up. You can't even get the scars up for us. I don't know what's up with our love. You're forgetting all about us. Oh, my jolie, oh my jolie, where you been? When I need you the most, you still MIA. This is murder, heart is melting, girl, you got me. This is called the bluffing, need you something, now you talking. I call you bluff, telling me to cool it off, cool it off. How can I cool it off, cool it off? Telling me to cool it off, cool it off. How can I cool it off, cool it off? My jolie, oh my jolie. Girl, you got me. Called your bluffing, made you something, now you talking. Telling me to cool it off, cool it off. How can I cool it off, cool it off? Telling me to cool it off, cool it off. How can I cool it off, cool it off? Cool it off. I don't know how to cool it off. My jolie, oh my jolie.
Just the other day, saw you looking my way. I stopped to contemplate moments that went to waste. Why you do that? You drop me like who that? And put me through that. But baby, it's useless. I'm living my life. Don't need you in mine. Me feeling just fine. One of a kind. Who better than I? Hey, 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 oh. Shawty, don't play that game. Shawty, don't play that game. I won't keep you safe. Time that I relocate, don't play that game. Shawty, don't play that game. I know my place. Shawty, I know my. Got a lot to do, I got a lot to do, I got a lot to do. Got a lot of. At the crack of dawn in the dark of night, what I got to do? Got to do. I'ma make it loud, how I made you scream like a cockatoo. Squall. In the party where about to show the rest what the boy can do. What you expect, how I forget these thoughts of you. Don't need no reps, I'm in the jet, gon' fly the coop, fly the coop. Shawty, don't play that game. Shawty, don't play that game. I won't keep you safe. Time that I relocate. Oh, don't play that game. Shawty, don't play that game. I won't keep you safe. Time that I relocate. Don't play that game. Shawty, don't play that game. I know my place. Shawty, I know my place. Shawty, don't play that game.
Let's go. Are you ready? You've been staring since I came in. I know you wanna get to know me, but honestly I came with my girls, wanna dance by ourselves. Can't you tell? Baby, baby, I have thick skin. Yeah, I don't let things get to me. But do you want me to spell it out for you right now? I'm not feeling.
Pain. I've been there. Locked up inside my head. Broken from fear, illusions, disappointment, and hopelessness. Who heard me in my silence, where being a man means nothing? Despair. I've been there too. Desperately seeking answers for the questions associated with manhood. Hills and valleys, too bleak to compare. Stress. Suffering in a utility silo. No comfort, no security. No freedom, no justice. Just do it for others. Challenges. Who will help me break the challenges? Lost in the vortex of darkness, hopelessness, fear, and abandonment. I've been there too. I've been there too. Take the next step to your destiny. Join me in this fight. Walk forward. Deep breaths. Head held high, men. Come join me, men, in the winds of time. Stories, hopes, visions, purified, in the fire. I'm not a superhero. And I'm not the Reverend Knight. I'm here to help you. Join me then in this fight. Break the chains of your mind. Let's do it now. For now is all we have. Fire for your mind. The kosher clinician. All right, guys, we're about to start. We got the talented Chantelle Simone in the house, and we're going to have a powerful discussion on tonight as a segue to what we had last night. And tonight's discussion is going to be talking about a topic called death psychology. Last night, I had the Angry Man on my channel, and we were talking about sign language, shame, insults, guilt, and the need to be right. But this is going to be a segue to what the Angry Man had, and this time we're going to be talking about death. They deny the evidence when you present them with the evidence. They become enraged when you present them with the evidence. They argue to ad hominem attacks, meaning they attack the messenger instead of the message. And they fight you or flee because they have a condition that many have in modern times, to the point that they want to destroy a person and wish death on their life. They have cognitive dissonance. All right, Chantelle Simone, how are you doing, young lady? The exalted lioness are you. You've been in these YouTube streets causing a lot of hell, man. You know, I'm gonna have to get some security for you. I'm gonna have to come down to Dallas and get some security, because they've been trying to kill the exalted lioness. And, you know, we can't let them take you out, Chantelle. We're gonna have to get a band of brothers, man, to form an army. You know, so that they can take out the exalted lioness. But what's been going on in your mind that you've been getting so much vitriol, Ms. Simone, and how do you deal with all these negative attacks that's been against you or assailed against you in these modern times?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to this conversation. Hey, to everyone in the chat. So because I'm coming from a genuine place, when I first started my channel, it was because I didn't know this information. So I'm like, hey, let's share this information. And then to see the backlash that I've been getting from so many Black women, it doesn't really faze me, because it's like, I'm just sharing the information. Now, if it was, I'm trying to pander to Black men, and then I'm making up stories and getting the backlash from Black women, I would have probably feel some kind of, I would have probably been affected by the hate. But everything I'm saying on my channel is the truth. I'm just speaking the truth. And I'm also sharing things that I went through, being advised to go to school and get my education and put learning how to work with a man on the back burner. That's my story. That was my life. So somebody coming at me to cancel me because I'm sharing my life, like, it doesn't faze me, because I lived my life. And I mean, but it just highlights just how hurt we are as a Black community. Not just in America, but everywhere. It just highlights just how much work we have to do, and channels like mine and yours just it's just moving the needle a bit to bring awareness that, hey, we have work to do.
Well, listen, you're doing an awesome job. In the book of Nehemiah, I'm doing like 5 things at one time. I'm going to turn the camera on in a minute. But, in the book of Nehemiah, he says, stay on the wall and don't come down. And I'm going to encourage you to stay on the wall. Don't come down because of the naysayers. Don't come down because you are the exalted lioness. You are genuine. You are trying to learn. You are uncoming so that you can become that beautiful woman for your husband one day. And I applaud you for your work. I applaud you for your tenacity. In a time, Chantelle Simone, where people don't want to hear the truth, because many are dealing with a condition called egocentria. I'm sorry. I scared the hell out of you.
Yeah, you did.
I saw your eyes. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to scare you. But people that have delusional personality disorders, they have a syntonic ego. In the clinical world, Chantelle, that basically means that they think what they're thinking is right. And so when you try to tell them something to the contrary, they can't receive it because they have ego syntonia. A dystonic ego means they don't like what they're feeling. Like if a person's schizophrenic or going through depression, the ego is dystonic because they don't like it. But a person that have ego syntonia, they can't deal with, they like what they're feeling. And so when you try to correct them, they think you're crazy instead of them doing the introspection because they have thinking errors and they can't evaluate themselves. But I want to ask you a question that's more poignant because deaf is synonymous to sign language. I came up with the acronym called Deaf as a Therapist. And why is the modern woman deaf? Why is the modern woman, Chantelle? Why is it they deny evidence? They become enraged when you give them the evidence. They argue through ad hominem attacks. They attack you instead of the messenger. And why do they fight you or flee, in your opinion?
I mean, I think it's a hard pill to swallow when you look back on your life and realize that everything that you have done caused you to have your undesirable results. It takes a lot of humility and putting your ego to the side to really look in the mirror. And sometimes, the fight or flight mindset, I guess. Some people can stay there and fight, or some people can look within and say, okay, you know what, you're not lying. And I think that's just what it is. I mean, it takes a lot to look in them. I'll be 31 next month. And I was just telling my sister yesterday, like, some life decisions I've made, I wouldn't have if I had the knowledge now, or if I had some guidance when I was younger.
Yes,
it takes a lot of strength to look back on your life and say, hey, I have a few regrets, right? Because we want to point outside. We want to say it's the patriarchy, or it's the government, or it's white supremacy, why we are where we're at. But when you can't, and you have to look within and say, I was the one who made the decision to go right instead of left, I'd have nobody to blame. It's a tough pill to swallow. And some people, instead of just swallowing that pill, they rather just scream and shout and behave like children.
Yeah. Many are behaving like children, and Chantelle is to their own detriment because I've always said in the past, in order to recover, you have to uncover. And it appears that you have been doing a lot, Chantelle, as it relates to uncovering to become the woman that you are now. But it takes a lot of introspection. It takes a lot of shallow work. It takes you looking at yourself saying, like they used to say in the old Baptist church, it's not my sister, it's not my father, but it's me, oh Lord. I'm standing in the need of prayer. And I think when you can say that so succinctly, then you will begin to uncover so that you can recover. And the crazy thing about it, Chantelle, is that you have an old soul, because this is what we did back in the past. Norma, the older women, taught the younger women how to do the right thing. But now, when you be hitting them hard, tell them that they want top good men but got them long titties. And you do it with that Jamaican accent. You said titties. You don't even say reason we. When you be hitting them with them bombs, Chantelle, they can't handle it because you just keep it at 100. Listen, we call guys short, we call them broke, we call them dusty, we call them, they can't get this and that. Man, we eat it, but they got you'll be coming around the mountain titties, and they won't. they can get a top man, and it doesn't work that way. Men understand that in order to get the women that they want, they got to put in work. And so, so many are deaf because I think so many of our women, American women, are not used to being held accountable. And then so in their mind, Chantelle's supposed to be on code. She's supposed to embrace the sisterhood, but she's a traitor when she called them out for bad behavior. But only thing you're saying is that, listen, we got issues in our community. If we want to change it, then we got to look within ourselves. And see, I know you're genuine because you're aligned. It's like myself, I'm a Leo. We believe in being honest, but sometimes, it could be a detriment because we're brutally honest, and we don't mean anything by it. We're just being honest, And so Some people say, well, you need a filter. Well, the truth has no filter. It's the truth. And so, yeah, the truth has no filter, Chantelle. And so when you try to show people, they getting schema afflictions, having convulsions and, and got the Medusa complex because they can't deal with what you're telling them. And, many times, Chantelle, is a lot of these simps because they are...
Oh my gosh. I don't like horror movies.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I wasn't able to sleep tonight. I gotta turn on some cartoon or some SpongeBob.
Well, I'll tell you what I do. I'll warn you. I'll warn you every time. I have to close your eyes, Chantelle. Because that's what a lot have a very beautiful veneer, but their souls are very dark. They have very dark souls, Chantelle. So they get mad at you because they're deaf. And they don't want to hear the truth. Let me read through some of these comments, guys, because we're going to have a powerful show on tonight. Chantelle Simone is in the house, and we're going to have to get the fruit of Islam to protect her because, some of these folks are mad with Chantelle. And Chantelle don't care. Chantelle says, I'm going to be like Anita Baker. I'm going to keep hitting you in the mouth. Keep giving you the best that I got. And they get mad at you, Chantelle, but we got you. Me and Top Gun, we're going to get that serpent sulfur. We're going to get them out because, a lot of them are they need help and they need the Lord, but they don't want to hear the truth. Let me, who's this? Who gave me this $10 super sticker? I can't even see it. Hold tight. I think everybody's scared. Somebody's speaking in your native tongue. Rock, how is it? Rock, then good to see you, brother. Okay, I don't know what that is. But yeah, they're spellbound. What do you think about modern women being spellbound by their own ignorance, Chantelle, and also some of these modern men? And before you add to it, somebody donated a $10 super stick. I don't know. Where did it go at? Where did it go at? I want to make sure I send them some love. Okay, so shout out to my man Hakeem for that $10 super sticker.
That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right?
Thank you, Hakeem. I appreciate it, brother. As we had the talented and the beautiful Chantelle Simone in the house. But spellbound, some appear to be spellbound and be spellbound by their own ignorance. What say you, Chantelle, about them being spellbound and the simps that are more or less accosting them and their delusions? What say you?
I think it's very unfortunate. Everybody's going to learn. Everybody's have to wake up. Sometimes we wake up too late. Sometimes we wake up when we're on our deathbed. Unfortunately, I had to sit with my mom by her deathbed, and I witnessed her regrets.
Yes, ma'am.
So it's unfortunately, but fortunately at the same time, because I opened my eyes, like witnessing my mom on her deathbed with her regrets. I made a promise to myself that her regrets won't be my regrets. So
yes,
that's
ma'am.
when I opened my eyes. I can say that I was spellbound too. I was strong, independent, had my MBA. Nobody couldn't tell me anything, especially no man, right? Because I was educated, I was independent. But witnessing my mom regrets, being there, opened my eyes. So I think a lot of modern women are spellbound, and if a tragedy happened, or if once they're on their deathbed, their eyes will be open. Because your eyes are going to be open eventually. If sometimes it will just be open too late. So that's why I give a lot of grace sometimes, because if I didn't go through what I went through, my eyes would have probably still been closed. I would have probably still been spellbound too.
No doubt. How was being deaf, Chantelle, a detriment to you? We talked about the acronym called DEAF. How was deaf a detriment to you? How did you create what's called self-sabotage in your deafness because, you weren't willing to hear what people were saying? When Kevin Samuels was living, and, Kevin Samuels was one of the forerunners, there were many guys in this space, Tommy Sotomayor, the Angry Man, and many, many others that were voices, BJS Itmore. I can't think of the other person. He's dead now, but Sergeant Willie Pete, I think. But anyway, there were many men that were clarion callers talking about the behaviors of some of our women. And now that men are beginning to speak out, it's causing a lot of people to have a schema affliction. But how is death a detriment to your psyche as a person? And looking back, you talk about your mom being on her deathbed, and we're gonna talk about that in a minute as well. What did you see within her that you saw in yourself, and you say, you know what, I gotta change, because that's what we call an existentialist crisis.
So the main thing that I saw was being stuck in this echo chamber, was constantly repeating patterns and just constantly doing things that's not intentional, right? Before, if say Kevin Samuels was around at that time, and I would, old Chantelle would have came across a clip of Kevin, or even your channel, you're right. I would have just turned a deaf ear to it. I would have probably said, y'all hate Black women. I'll probably repeat everything that these women are saying, but it's because there's a self, when you open your eyes, it gives you some awareness and perspective, where you can see things from other people's perspective. So during that time, when I realized that family is important, it really got me start questioning, okay, what would a man want from me? Or not even that. I started questioning what my role would be in a relationship, because my mom didn't have any long-term solid relationship. Most of her life, she was just a single woman, right? Wow. So that really got me thinking, like, okay, what would a relationship look like? And then what would my role be in the relationship? And what would the guy role be in the relationship? And I started getting curious. So I think when I was the DEF, your acronym DEF, thank you so much, Miss Decent. With your acronym, I guess I just wasn't curious during that time of my life, and I just didn't care what men want or what my role was supposed to be. I honestly just didn't care.
Yeah, and a lot of our women are causing a lot of our women to suffer in silence, because we call in the clinical world, Chantelle, vicarious trauma, meaning they live through the trauma of their mothers because of what they went through with their fathers. And some of them are more or less reeling through the trauma of their mothers, but many of them, Chantelle, are not. Some of these women are wicked, and as my man Top Gun said, they're actually granny serpents.
What did we do to her? You mean, what did she do to us? She had the nerve to call us witches. And she was right. You three ugly witches.
And so, I use Aunt Esther as an icon, because she's very violent, and we think about Chantelle. Many times we talk about, abuse, assault against women. But Aunt Esther was the typical loudmouth, blabbermouth, what some call a mammy, very disrespectful. She was very emasculating. She would disrespect Woodrow, twist his arm. And it's easy to say in modern times, she was the queen of emasculation as it came to men. Very loud, very cantankerous. And they always like to paint our women in a negative light, like Aunt Esther. They paint them in a negative light. They're loud, they're cantankerous. They don't have any sense of decorum. And it seems like any time you try to present yourself in a way that exudes or exhibits feminine decorum, then all of a sudden it's an issue. And, what women don't understand, what men want the most is a very feminine, cooperative woman. But when you see that negative diatribe by Esther, what was ruminating in your head? Before you answer that, shout out to my man, Gregory Scotland, for that $5 super sticker. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it, Gregory. And to the 40 of you watching, guys, get the likes up. Go check out Chantelle Simone on her channel. Make sure you take your 9mm and your bulletproof vest. And and also, guys, share the content. If you like what I'm doing, spread the message, because as a licensed therapist, this is edutainment. Because I want to educate but entertain at the same time, because many times very technical terms relating to clinical work, you have to be very creative. And so I try to be creative to keep you guys involved, to keep you guys entertained, but at the same time educating you, just like our ancestors, because they spoke in parable. But we talk about that existentialist crisis. What did the existentialist crisis do for you? When did you realize, when you saw your mom on that deathbed, you know what, I got to get it together? Because Erickson talked about something called ego integrity versus despair. ego integrity, Chantelle, basically posits this. It says, similar to the Apostle Paul, I kept the faith, and now which is laid upon me is a crown of life. It basically means I've lived my life on my own terms. I lived my life free of shame. I've done everything I needed to do. Similar to what Sam Cooke said. He said, when I've gone the last mile of the way. You know, Sam Cooke was a singer back in America, big time singer. But despair is when a woman is sitting on her deathbed and, you know, she's broken and she's looking over her life. And, you know, many times they might have the degrees on the wall, you know, they might have the nice car. And my sister, she went through an existentialist crisis and she did get her soul right with God on her deathbed. But, you know, she had a $500,000 home, 2021 Range Rover, almost an $80,000 vehicle, making money. But she had an existentialist crisis. So before you're crossing over to meet God, you begin to look around and realize that all this stuff really means nothing. The only thing that really matters at the end is family, you know, family, and hopefully, and I say hopefully, having family around at the bedside to usher you in. And so people say, well, you're going to die alone anyway. Well, listen, we all are going to go over into the glory world, hopefully in the glory world alone. But I call it death by proxy, meaning you got people at your bedside waiting to usher you in versus you being in that bed by yourself with cats and dogs licking their lips ready to eat you up. You know, them cats and dogs, you know, licking their tongue, you know, meow because they about to have a human sandwich. But when did you go do your existentialist crisis, Chantelle?
So I realized it when like, for example, the clip you show. Don't judge me, but I'm not familiar with that TV show. Okay. What's it called?
Sanford and Son.
Okay. I've seen a few clips from it, but I don't think I've ever watched it. Her behavior is how a lot of Black women were told that we should be, you know, that combative, argumentative. A lot of us were raised thinking that that is how men want us to be, because if we're too soft, if we're too feminine, too kind, too corporative, then we're gonna be seen as pushover. We're gonna be seen as, you know, we don't have a mind for our own. So I was like that. I was very combative. I would always like question if he said we're going left. I'm like, no, why we don't go right? You know, always trying to like belittle him, emasculate him, like not trust his guidance. And as I said, once I started getting curious about what my role was in a relationship and what men want, I started realizing that men want to feel needed and men feel loved when they're needed. But I had the mindset, I don't need a man for anything. I got this on my own. I remember at work once, I was struggling with a box and my office mate, he was a guy, and he offered to help, and I was like, no, I can do it, because that's what I was programmed, right? I should never ask for help, but men feel loved when they feel needed. So if I enter my relationship thinking I don't need a man, I should show him that I can do everything on my own, then it will never have a successful relationship. So I think, as I said, it was a curiosity part of it, like stepping away from the echo chamber and reprogramming my mind and relearning everything I was told when I was younger, because everything we're told, go to school, get your education, be combative, never submit. The word alone, submission, is the devil word. Right. And then when we realize, okay, to have a healthy relationship, though, you need to submit. So, you know, it's like reprogramming that learning, and we realize that everything we were told was a setup to keep us single and to have us there on our deathbed. And as you said, you know, it's like, yeah, obviously everybody dies alone, but who is surrounded, who is there, and family. Like a lot of events happened in my life to make me realize that family is the most important, not the degrees, not the cars, not the house, but family.
Right. It's the most important thing in the world. You know, something that our ancestors understood, man. You know, my nieces got married yesterday to her Ghanaian prince. I'll let you see it in a minute. I'm gonna have to add some Jamaican music to it because they won't give me a copyright strike. But yeah, she got married, and you know, he's 38, very handsome young man. The Ghanaian cultures, I mean, it was so mesmerizing. They're very intact. You know, they have community. You know, she's 24. But he doesn't look his age. He's an engineer. He's in the Army. Love the brother, young man, and I'm happy for him. And so, you know, she got her man. And I always tell women, you know, what they'll understand, if you got a man that's healthy and good shape, it's really a fair exchange to get an older man sometimes because they're in good shape. They got the house, got a home, they got the stuff together. That can be a benefit for a woman, you know, if the man is in good shape, he's physically fit. and he has some direction. And looking at her husband, you will never tell that he's 38. He looks very young before his age. But she's finally she jumped the broom at an early age, and see, she's capitalizing on her sexual market value, Chantelle, at an early age. Something a lot of our women, American women, don't do. They wait too long trying to have fun, and by the time they wake up, them breasts, them titties to the ground, them long titties to the ground. and they wonder why they can't get a man, So you want to get a man while them things are perking firm. And why that body is tight, because what you tell them it's the truth, but some of them, they get mad, because just like a man can't be going around with a pot belly, a bum, not holding, men got to step their game up as well. But we live in a world that anytime you accost a woman, it's called hate. And you are a woman yourself. And so when you hold women accountable, they say you got low self-esteem, you're a pick-me, and you should want to be a pick-me. Every woman should strive to be a pick-me. Who hurt you? And the fact that these women are deaf and they want to put deaf on you is very telling. And we're going to get to that in a minute. But guys, once again, share the stream. Let's get the stream up tonight. We got the lovely Chantelle Simone in the house. Shout out to my man Rock Den for the $5 super sticker. Thank you, sir. Shout out to Rock. And shout out to everyone on the panel or in the room tonight. But I want to ask you a question, Chantelle. Is death a byproduct of trauma, rebellion, or both, in your opinion?
I think it's both. I think it's the trauma from, generational cycles, generational programming that was passed down, and then rebellion in terms of, we don't know. And the society, the media paint black men as the enemy, with movies like The Color Purple and stuff. They paint black men as the enemy. So we rebel against the leadership of our men, even though the Bible that we claim that we follow says men are the head. We rebel against that. I think it's both. I would say it's both. It's in our best interest, though, to do the self-reflection. It's in our best. And I mean, let me tell, it's hard work. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of crying, right? To look in the mirror and say, dang, I messed up my life. I was lied to. I'm going down the wrong direction. But it's better, like this analogy that a story I heard. A man was swimming from Jamaica to Cuba, which is 90 miles. He got to 45 miles and said, it's too long, let me turn around, right? He was halfway there. So a lot of times we will be in our pain and our hurt, and we don't want to do the hard work to get better. So we'll much rather stay in the hard pain and hurt. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
What does hard work look like for Chantelle Simone? What does that look like? What is that hard work that you're talking about?
The self-realization, the looking in the mirror, the taking accountability, the taking accountability for your failed relationships. Even though, yes, it takes two to tango, you were in the relationship too, and you got to take, in your personal life, for you got to take 100% of the accountability, because it's your life, you answer to you. So that takes hard work. Realizing that you made a couple mistakes in the past, that young and dumb excuse, that takes hard work. The shoulda, coulda, woulda sucks, and that takes hard work. But it's better for you to say shoulda, coulda, woulda at 30, 40 than to say shoulda, coulda, woulda at 80 on your deathbed. Like,
Right. Shout out to Miss Descendant of Al.
That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right?
$7
That's a
small.
bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right?
Thank you, dear. Once again, guys, if you decide to donate to the channel, if you want to do it through Cash App, hit me up at Cash App at $7 smalls. We're gonna get deeper into the rabbit hole, Chantelle. We're gonna get deeper into the rabbit hole because death is an issue that's causing a lot of our women to miss out on good men and also to miss out on their blessings because they fail to do the shallow work, they fail to do the introspection, and it's causing a lot of them to, sing that song by Patti LaBelle, I'm on my own. And we don't want them to sing that song by Patti LaBelle. We want them to be happy. We want them to get a good man. And Chantelle, we want them to, be like Shirley Brown. You remember Shirley Brown from the 70s? You remember her?
No.
She said no. She did. Well, Shirley Brown was like the women in the past, and this is what Shirley Brown said.
Now you see, I don't want no trouble now. I hope you want.
Yeah, Shirley Brown said, I love that man. And see, that's what men are looking for, Chantelle. They want a woman that can love them. They want a woman that can honor them and honor the contract of marriage. You know, you got memes going around there, Chantelle, with women saying that, you know, marriage is a con game. You know, they said that you got to, they berate men. They say that you got to pick up behind them. They're lazy. You got to cook. You got to clean. But I never understood that, Chantelle, because if you're a grown woman living by yourself, you're going to cook and clean. You know, if you're not eating out every day, getting big as a house, you're going to be cooking and cleaning. So I never understood, you know, the complaint about cooking and cleaning. So if you're a single woman, you're going to cook and clean. That's established. All right. So if you get a husband, now you got a helpmate that can help you. I mean, you got a king that can help you cut grass if he's a righteous man. We're not talking about the bummy men. We're not talking about men that are lazy. We're not talking about men that don't have a vision. We're not talking about men that are users and abusers. We're not talking about them. We're talking about average, good, hardworking brothers that many women don't want. But men that cut grass, men that are professional men, like I'm a professional man, but I cut grass, I change oil, I wash my cars, I do housework, I do all of that. I do it, but I'm highly educated. But that doesn't change the fact that I'm still traditional. But we talk about men that put in work. And, you know, I never understood the Chantelle because they berate or bemoan because they say, I don't want to do that, you know, cooking and cleaning is slave work. But you're a slave to your mind because now you're getting big and you're losing money. The inflation is up, you know, the cost of living is up. It's a lot more cheaper and more advantageous to cook than to be going out here wasting money on foolishness. Would you not agree?
I would agree, yes.
Mm-hmm. And so I never understood the level of disdain by so many, Chantelle, because they don't want to put in the work. But when you hear this foolishness, Chantelle, what's percolating inside your head with all the foolishness that you're hearing?
So I think when women say, oh, they're not going to wash, cook, clean for a man, I think they are referring to the dusty men that they're used to, because those are the kind of men that they witness, and those are the kind of men that they have attracted in their past. So they can't imagine submitting. That's why submission is just a scary word for them, because they can't imagine submitting to a man who, you know, is the kind of men that they attract.
Right.
So they have to do the inner work first before they can attract a good man who is worthy of all those things. It's kind of like what comes first, the chicken or the egg, right? I wouldn't recommend any woman being submissive and catering to a man who does not want to be a man. But unfortunately, a lot of these modern women attract men who don't want to be a man. Mm-hmm. So they got to just do the self-work first. They got to get in the mind of becoming a pick-me before, because the Bible says he who finds a wife, right? So she's a wife before. So you have to get in the mind frame of being a wife, even if you don't have your husband yet, even if you don't have your man. Get in the mind frame of cooking, cleaning, and set your intentions. Act as if, right? I think a lot of times when they're saying like, I'll be feminine when I meet a masculine man, then you will never attract that masculine man to you, because you're not feminine. You gotta attract it to you. So you gotta act like a wife, carry yourself like a lady on social media, stop showing your body, and then you will attract a man who is worthy of you submitting and serving.
No doubt. I totally agree. Shout out to my dear young lady, Lolita Dampiers. She sent a $5 super sticker. She said, thank you for confirming, sir. Thank you, Lolita. I really appreciate that deal. But I want to ask you another question, Chantelle. Why are you so passionate about family? You know, you talked about your mom dying on her deathbed. Why are you now so passionate about family? Why is that so important to you?
Well, I don't have a large family anymore. I did. I have a lot of family members that passed away in the last couple of years. And then, you have your extended family. Thanksgiving dinner was always packed and it's always laughs and stuff. Now, unfortunately, my family cut in half. So I realized that, okay, it's time for me now to start my own family and build my family. And that's when I came to the realization. When I lost majority of my family, that's when I realized how important family is.
Right, and I think a lot of them are beginning. I think the beer virus taught a lot of women how important family was as well. Yeah. Now, sadly, some got the divorces, but the ones that were single, it let them realize how important family is. Listen, marriage is work. relationships are work. You got to work. You know, I think so many come in thinking they're going to be the princess and they're going to be special. They come in thinking they're going to be served instead of coming in with the heart of a servant to serve the man. And what most women don't understand is this: we're not talking about bums. We're talking about good men. A good man, if that woman is genuinely serving that man, you know, that man's going to give her the best. Men love to give to their women. We love giving to our women if they're good, righteous women and honorable women. But I'm talking about good men. We're not talking about dusty men. We're not talking about derelicts. We're not talking about men that are exploitative or abusive. We're not talking about those kind. We're not talking about Raekwon the man. You know, guys that got the Oedipus complex. You know, son husbands. You know, we ain't talking about guys like, you know, got this the Oedipus complex, Chantelle, and walking around saying this.
Yeah, we changed the balls on my mom. Maybe bro, kill some of my mom, bro. They back me look like
that's on my monkey. That's on my monkey. That's on my monkey.
Yeah, I know. You're muted.
I'm muting myself. All of can you see me?
Yeah, I can see you. I can hear you and see you now.
Well, I don't see myself. So what's going on? Can you guys see me?
Yeah, I can see you.
Okay, well, why can't I see myself? This is crazy. Okay, hold on for a minute. Hold on, Chantelle. Damn, the ghost ain't got me. Can everybody see me, Chantelle? So she can see me. I can't see myself. You can see me, Chantelle?
I can see you, yeah.
Okay, well, I don't see you on the screen. So what's going on? Are you on the screen?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Tim and Andrew said, yeah, they can see you.
Well, I can't see me or you on the screen.
Yeah.
I can see you in the background, but I don't see you on the screen. So, oh my goodness, man. They okay. Well, hold on, man. They must got this computer screen spellbound because I don't see nothing. So, yeah, hold on for a minute, Chantelle. I don't know what's going on, man. You know, the screen is black. I think you guys. Okay, well, I can see you, Chantelle, now, but I'm gonna have to look at you on the screen because. All right, so I'll just look at you on the YouTube screen. They're bugging up here with StreamYard. But anyway, yeah, they said they can see me, so I don't know what's going on. But yeah, you got a lot of men like that, Chantelle, that say, "Oh my mama," you know, those are the Raekwons and the man-mans. You know, I tell you, you laugh. You laugh. You must have dealt with some guys like that to say, "Oh my mama." No. You sure you ain't dealt with no Raekwons and man-man, Chantelle?
No,
I believe Chantelle dealt with some Raekwons and man-man. Say, "Oh my mama."
No.
No doubt. Shout out to MC Recovering Wellness for that $5 stupid stuff. He said, critical hit. Thank you, brother. I really appreciate it. And thank you, Ms. Dampier, for your kind, generous offer, no doubt. But we're gonna get right into it. I might have to restart my browser because y'all hold with me, man. Because hold tight, guys. I hope I don't lose Chantelle. Okay, so guys, I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna restart this browser. If you guys lose me, don't end the show, man. I'm just I don't see myself, so just hold tight. I gotta reload.
Oh, this is awkward. Shout out to everybody in here.
There we go. Woo! Scared me to death, man. Had me scared for a minute. Devil, you know, Raekwon the man was trying to put a hit on me. Raekwon the man said, "We gonna murk you. We gonna take you out." Shout out to my man, A Peaceful Life, for that $20 super sticker. Thank you, Peaceful Life. Peaceful Life. I want you to come up at some point. The Intimate experience. In a minute, I want you to come up. I got the lovely Chantelle Simone because he's from Nassau, Bahamas originally. He's from Bahamas. He's Caribbean like you. And, you know, we both have seen the foolishness going on in America there, and the chicanery and the wickedness. But you know, when we talk about denying, what did Chantelle Simone deny about herself from the past? What did you deny about yourself? You know, Teddy Pendergrass said it better than me. He said, "You can't hide from yourself." What did you deny about yourself in the past? And, you know, you had to come to that great awakening.
I was very hard to deal with. I was not soft, feminine, warm, welcoming, and that was a common feedback I would get from people I would date or be in relationship with, a lot of them would say that I was just very cold. Cold was the word that they use a lot for me. And even friends would say that too, like I'm not very affectionate. And I accepted that. I denied it. I accepted it as that's just how I am, until I started asking the hard question, self-reflecting, taking accountability, and realizing that if I want a healthy relationship, I cannot be cold. And the feminine energy is the nurturing side, right? The feminine energy is the warm, loving energy. So me being cold was not in my natural self. There had to be an underlying reason why I had my guards up, where it come off as, being cold. So it took a lot of work. It took a lot of self-reflection, therapy, reaching out, asking the hard questions, getting the help from anyone who I could, to get to this place. But yeah, I would say that's what I was denying. And a lot of people deny, especially modern women, they deny things that's limiting them. Because even the ones with the long titties,
You're so damn funny. You are so funny. You are so funny. You are definitely a Leo, and not so much alike. but yeah.
even the one with the long titties will deny the fact that, hey, men like perky titties, right?
Oh my God, you're so funny, man. You're so funny. God, you're funny. Woo, boy, wow, that is powerful. And I would have never thought, you, Chantelle, was a person that was, you're so feminine. Now, I could never imagine that, you were very masculine, but you personify feminine qualities and feminine virtues. And, and I think you talked about in some of your shows that you were attracting, guys like Raekwon the Man, the ones that walk around, with the pants hanging down and when they want you to pay for the meals and they say, well, if you don't pay for the meal, it's gonna be on your mom.
Yeah, put chain on them. Balls on my mom. They be broken balls. Kill some of my mom. Bro, they back me look like
gang. That's on my monkey. Gang. That's on my monkey. Gang. That's on my
I was not attracted those.
Bomber class. Bomber class.
They shared similar characteristics, but I wasn't necessarily attracting them, no.
Yeah, bomber class, man. They bomber class, man. And just like them old country dogs. Them old country dogs tend to breed guys like Raekwon the Man. They got them old long titties. They have so many litters. The breasts start flapping like them. You see them old country dogs in Jamaica in the country. They stretch under the sun with a bunch of fleas and ticks. They got them old long breasts with them mutts running behind them, man. They're not. I know we're gonna have to call the Fruit of Islam on the night for Chantelle, man. But Ingram, listen, the link has been dropped. Ingram, I want you to draw me and Chantelle because Ingram was he was in law enforcement too, like myself. I used to be in law enforcement. So Ingram, the link has been dropped. Join in, brother, anytime you want. While me and Chantelle are in the discussion. But when did you become? Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
No, go ahead.
Yeah. And so when did you become enraged? What were you enraged about, Chantelle, before you came to this point where you're at now? What were you enraged about?
What do you mean? Clarify that.
So enraged. So what kept you in a perpetual cycle of brokenness? You were always angry. What were you? Because part of death is being enraged.
So I must say, I was always feminine, but I always wanted to be soft and nurturing, but I forced myself to be cold. So that cold and masculine is something I was putting on. It's not until I came to the realization where I let go off of my cold and let go off my holding up my guards and being vulnerable and putting myself out there. I think I just thought that's how I had to be. I thought, I had to protect myself. I did not have a strong father figure in my life to protect me. So I had to protect myself growing up. And then also I was taught, men are the enemy. Men only want one thing. Men just want your cookie, and men are gonna, have sex with you and leave you. And I mean, I got those teaching from my mom.
Right.
I remember when my high school boyfriend, well, it was high school / college, when that relationship ended. It was my first relationship, it was my first serious relationship. And what my mom told me was, oh, he just had sex with you and left you. Right. So like, I thought that, okay, then that's what men do. And that's what I grew up and hear. So of course I had to have my guards up. So I entered dating with my guards up. Like, no, men just want one thing. So it's best if you get one over on them before they get one over on you. So that's where the coldness came in.
Right. What did you routinely argue about in the past? What did you routinely argue about? It kept you in a perpetual. Talk about it.
Like the one relationship I can think of, oh my gosh, we argued every single day. And I always say, if any of my exes see my YouTube channel, they'll probably be like, Cap, she's lying, she's not feminine. But every single day we would argue, just like, as I said, like, hey, should we go left? No, go right. And then also too, I attracted, because I was so in my masculine, I attracted very passive men. Who were suppressing their masculinity because I was suppressing my femininity. So deep down, he wanted to be assertive, but he was just passive. And deep down, I wanted to be passive, but I was just assertive. So it was just a mess, and we weren't in our natural path. We weren't in where God created us to be. So I mean, when I say we used to argue over everything, and like anything under the sun, if it's like, oh, it's raining today, let's argue about it raining. Like, I can't even think of a specific example. We would just argue every single day. We were arguing. And then also, I thought that's how relationships should be. I thought that was natural. Right. In a relationship.
Ingram, you're from Bahamas, man. And Chantelle is talking about Caribbean culture, and she's talking about them long dog titties. I told you, we're gonna have to get the fruit of Islam, man. Get a gun, bring out 6-shooters, man, and protect Chantelle. But she's real funny, man. God knows she definitely is very funny, man. But this young lady have had death threats, sadly, because she's a clarion caller for the truth, and a lot of folks can't hear the truth, Ingram, because they are deaf. When you hear the acronym DEAF that I created, what resonates through your thought to the point that they do have cognitive dissonance? They deny the evidence. They become enraged when you present them the evidence. They argue through ad hominem attacks. They attack her, Miss Simone. They attack the messenger instead of attacking the message itself, and they fight or flee. When you look at it in the greater kaleidoscope, what do you think is going on, man?
Well, first, salute to everybody tonight, especially everybody that tuned into the chats. Hey, what's going on, Chantelle? Happy to see you. Looking good.
Thank you.
It's just a fundamental thing with our culture that people just don't want to deal with the truth. And because we've created such a world of zero accountability that the truth forces us to look within ourselves. It forces you to look at the mirror and do self-reflection.
Right.
And that's a difficult process because now you have to take responsibility for all the things you do and all the actions that you take. And in this modern culture, you're not going to get women to do it. And especially a lot of these simps, you're not going to get them to take any responsibility for their life. They don't want it. They want to blame people. And that's why they always say, don't judge me. Because you find it as a form of self-deflection. That's a person that doesn't want to live by any standard, and like I always say, judge me every day if you want. I don't care. At the end of the day, I have no problem with it.
Right. And listen, Ingram, I was telling Chantelle, what Chantelle is talking about with just the normal when we were kids growing up. I mean, we just called the ace a ace, we didn't sugarcoat it. We just said what we said, and either you were or you won't. But nowadays, anytime you say something that goes against code, they say you hate black women, your mama black, who hurt you, goofy stuff. And we know that in order to be a better person, you have to uncover so that you can recover. The last acronym of DEAF, Chantelle and Ingram, is fighting or flee. What are so many American black women fighting against, Chantelle? What are they fighting against? And what are they fleeing? It's easy to say they're definitely fleeing accountability. They definitely flee accountability. They flee accountability like a roach running in the lights. but what are they fleeing besides accountability, and what are they fighting?
I would say they're fighting the truth. I would say they're fighting the truth. They're fighting the realization that everything they have done in their life and every advice that they got was a setup for them to die alone and for them to end the Black race, because we maintain the Black race with families, right? And the fact that so many of our women are marching for the right to terminate pregnancy, it's just
right.
So I think we're fighting against the truth. I think logic is staring us in our face, and we choose to just look the other way or deny it.
Well, the gospel says, Chantelle and Ingram, but that in the last days they will not love the truth. And the death for truth is nothing new. They killed the Messiah. They said, what shall we do with this man that told the truth? And Pontius Pilate said, crucify him. When it came down to Dr. King, they wanted to kill him because he told the truth. When it came down to Malcolm X, they killed him. They killed Stokely. They deleted Stokely Carmichael. They deleted so many clarion calls like yourself because they told the truth, Chantelle, because many have a scheme of affliction. And the one that's leading the scheme of affliction many times are the serpents. The serpents. So I got a snake coming up. Just close your eyes. Yeah, there's a lot. Oh my God, you funny. There's a lot of serpents out there, man. Shout out to Christopher Law for that $2 super sticker. And Top Gun called them the granny serpents. They're the older women. Like Esther. They should be telling them the truth, but at the same time, they're causing a lot of issues. 18th letter. This is only for the Ingram experience right now. I'm gonna drop the link at some point. You can pop back on in a minute. Right now, it's only for the panel, the Ingram experience, and Chantelle and I. But the 18th letter, I'll bring you back on at some point, so you can fall off. I'll bring you back in a few 18th letter. Okay. This is only for Ingram. The link is only for the Ingram experience. So I'll bring you back on in a few minutes. Okay. This is only for those two. Thank you, sir. You can come back on in a few minutes. But also, Chantelle, they got a condition called the Medusa complex. And the Medusa complex is something that many struggle with. They don't want to see themselves. And we're going to take a look at that real quick. It's often been said that art imitates life. And when art imitates life, it asks us the question, why are we seeing the things that we're beginning to see? In this show of The Kosher Clinician, we will be exploring the dark triad, and the dark triad personality traits are often seen in modern women. We will be exploring Machiavellianism, psychopathy, and also narcissism, as those three traits appear to be prevalent in modern times. We're going to explore the definitions associated with those three variables, but also we're going to be exploring some of the celebrities that could or more or less appear to have some of those traits. As I said earlier on this stream, with art imitate life, it appears that later in the past that some of the women that we're going to be talking about, so many have the Medusa complex, the Moniques, the Jada Pickett's, many of them have the Medusa complex because many of them are deaf. Chantelle, I'm going to bring up something in a minute as we continue to explore this topic. It's a video file I'm going to show you guys, and I took a lot of time and work in doing this, so guys, bear with me. But I want to. This is for educational purposes, and we're going to explore this together because we know Miss Chantelle is a very bright woman, and we know that the Ingram experience is very intelligent as well. But we're going to explore this conversation together. I took some notes, and we're going to talk about the issues and the struggles that are going on now as it relates to hold tight.
When we got our divorce,
hold tight.
They set it up for I think like $69 a week or whatever.
Hold tight. All right, so the first acronym for deaf is that they denied the evidence, Chantelle. They denied the evidence about their attitude. They denied the evidence about their weight. They denied the suffering of righteous men and boys. They deny unjust laws. They deny issues about their past. They deny about needing a man. They also deny about having the Medusa complex. They can't look at themselves because when they look at themselves, they become petrified. It's never her fault. Good men do exist, but they deny it. Men are sexually abused as well. And men have feelings too. So they deny all the evidence in the greater kaleidoscope of the human experience. But what do you see in this diagram, Chantelle, that resonates with you the most as the first acronym of death or death psychology?
The one that resonates with me the most is denying needing a man. Because it's the most logical thing, right? Especially like if even let's bring it to simple. You have a kid, why would you not need a man in the household, right, to protect you while you protect your child? But we are brainwashed into thinking that we can do it on our own, when the Bible that so many of us claim that we follow told us that we were created to under Adam. Adam was created first, then us. Right. So from the beginning of the time, we needed our men, but so many of us get allowed to be brainwashed into thinking we don't need our men. And so I think that's the biggest issue, because with a man, everything else, that's with a good man, not the on your mama man, right?
Not on your mama.
With a good man, good man, everything else on the chart will fall into place.
Right, no doubt. Shout out to the Angry Man for that $10 super sticker. Thank you, brother. He says salute to the kosher clinician. Come and be brothers and show some love. There were 2 Angry Men last night. I think it's the real one this time. But that's a deal, right? I appreciate it to the Angry Man. And also shout out to Andrew Baker and Peaceful Life are the sponsors of the stream. And that is a deal, right? He said that salute Coach Chantelle and Peaceful Life. The truth is kryptonite to most Black women. Men are told that the truth every day about who they are and what they need to do in order to improve. Men just deal with it while women refuse it. Ingram, what do you say about this diagram that I have about denying the evidence, the attitude, and all the different variables I have on the thing? What do you say about it? Unmute yourself.
All right, let me unmute myself here.
Right,
it all resonates with me, but I think the things, it all stands out, but attitude, weight, all that thing, all that just stands out. It just rises from the page, because this is what we're dealing with in the culture. And I always say we have a very lopsided matriarchal culture in this country. Right. I call it the hyena culture. Right. And it's the spirit of the hyena. And we know how males are in the hyena clan. I mean, a young female cub can be born tomorrow and she's higher ranking than the male. Right. And, females are bigger and they have that pseudo genitals with all the apparatus attached to it. And the energy that you typically get from many of these women, and that's why they hate traditional women like Chantelle, Avery, and some of the other women that come through, because they're the exact opposites of what they are. And in a hyena clan, they can't see men as anything else. So that whole nature has to be reprogrammed. And the problem is that I don't know if that can be achieved. A woman has to want to be that on her own. She has to want to be cooperative and feminine on her own. And I'm looking at this list: attitude, weight. I mean, even now, I'm a tall guy. I'm 6'7", and you some 350-pound woman walk up to you, think you're supposed to be interested in her. More power. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want the wildlife at the house. You know what I mean? Right. Rhinos and hippos and all that other stuff at the house. I'm not. That's because I'm a tall guy. They assume that's what you're into. Right. That's the standard. That's what Black men accept in the community, and any Black men or Black woman with any standards is going to be shamed. They're going to be, you're going to be, if you have standards, they're going to try and shame you out of your standards. Who hurt you, or you're Mr. from the color purple, or all these other weird stuff they call you, man, that I completely ignore. But that's the typical mentality when you refuse to stay on code with the hyena mentality, hyena code of worshiping women regardless of whatever, or having standard. The word standards is like kryptonite in the Black community. Standards and accountability. They don't want Black men to have standards. They think we should accept anything, especially piss poor attitudes.
Yeah, I totally agree. Let's look at this video by this woman, because this is the first step of death. We call it cognitive dissonance. It's classic cognitive dissonance, and many are suffering from it because they fail or refuse. All right, hope nobody got no PTSD seeing them explosions, man. But folks back there shaking like dogs, man, shaking like dogs, you know. But anyway, let's look at this and let's break it down, guys. Hold tight.
Yes. When we got our divorce, they set it up for, I think, like.
And this woman was talking about how the child support system is just a hustle, and many times women use child support as leverage. Most guys want to take care of their children. They just don't want the courts involved. When men talk about child support, women say, "Oh, these men don't want to take care of their kids." No, goofball. They do want to take care of their kids. We just don't want the government involved because many times it's a hustle game. Now, child support should be for deadbeats. I believe the deadbeats should pay child support, the ones that are not trying, the ones that are getting these women pregnant and running. I believe the child support should be for deadbeats. But when it comes down to good, upstanding men that are trying and they're still trying to get child support from these women, men, I got a problem with that. So listen to what this woman is saying, because she's bringing clarity in a time when there is no clarity.
$69 a week or whatever. So he got a new job. This is a true story. My baby daddy got a new job. My ex-husband got a new job. So they sent me a letter for us to go back and do an increase for us to go back to court. So we get to court. True story. I went to him at this time. Yes, I've got a whole new husband. My ex-husband, matter of fact, he had a new wife. They had just got remarried. So we get to court and they trying to get me to get an increase. And I told them, well, no, I'm good with the $69. Because at the time, I think my son was 4. I was like, I'm cool with that. I don't need no increase. I said, that's enough to take care of a 4-year-old to get him some whatever he needs, some Zuzus and Wham-Whams or whatever. They really was they was pushing the issue to the point I had to tell them I'm good. I don't need him to pay my bills. I need him to take care of his baby. His baby 4. $1 a week to get him what he need. Yeah, I don't need him to pay my bills, so yeah. And everybody was looking like, damn, I wish she was my baby. I was keeping it 100 though. This man just got married. He got all.
Shout out to the Angry Man for the $10 super sticker. I'm 6'5", 6'6", by the way. He said, "Oh, so y'all height flexing." That's all right. He said, "Y'all height flexing." That's all right. I'll still post up on y'all and go straight to the basket. And that's a deal, right? Shout out to the Angry Man. Shout out to that brother. Thank you, Angry Man. I appreciate everything. We had a powerful show last night. And, you know, being tall is not easy, man. Being 6'5", 6'7", as we get older, we got to make sure we stretch, because, you can get these stiff hips, man. So it's a blessing and a curse, but nonetheless. But listen, based on what this woman is saying, Chantelle, what's resonating through yours and Ingrid's mind about this woman? As she's basically saying the child support system is a hustle, in your opinion, because that's part of the deaf language. What's resonating inside you guys' head?
Well, I mean, yeah, it's definitely hearing what she's saying, like the fact that they're like the court system was pushing her to get an increase on child support is like, why, right? If the $69 is good and it's okay for the kid and it's been doing its part, why force? And she said she has a husband, her ex-husband is remarried, but it's just to show how, as women in the Black community, we were brainwashed, right? The government stepped in to give us ammunition against our men, and many women took it and ran with it, right? Except for women like herself who look at it for what it is and say, wait, why are y'all going so hard for me to take more money from this man, especially if he's a good father, if he's doing everything, he's showing up, he's being there, spending quality time with the kid. It's really sad. It really is sad.
Well, Kosha, can you hear?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
All right. Well, the first thing I'd have to ask is, how did he get in the child support system in the first place? If you have divorce with a woman, you're not put automatically in the child support system. unless you request it or require it. You can say, no, we're going to work out the child support part of our divorce on our own. I know many times in divorce hearings, they'll talk about it or whatever, if she's represented by attorney. What she's saying is correct, but what happens a lot of time is perhaps the man that she's gotten to replace her ex is equal to or better than her ex. And many times you see in many of these vindictive situation is the woman doesn't want to see that man go on happy or live a better life without her, or share his resources with another woman. They feel a sense of entitlement. But it all depends on how much that woman wants or values a man. So I have to believe that maybe she's a woman that's trying to do the right thing, because that's what she's saying. But at the same time, the question would be, how did he get in the child support system in the first place?
Right.
Because legally you have to want child support through the system for them to activate it. So that's the first thing with her. And the second thing is, for a lot of women, if they want that man or value that man, or just don't want to see that man do better without them, then it becomes a different game, because now it's like, okay, how do I control this person? How do I have muscle? And the only way to muscle somebody is through using the government, because without the government, like me, I have no government connections. I'm not married. I have no child support. It's really hard to control me. So it becomes a system of control, because when I get put on child support, it wasn't about child support. It was because just to inflict control and power using the state. So it was more so a situation. It becomes a power situation, but that also depends on whether that woman values or wants that man. If a woman sees that man, hey, that I upgraded to a better man, so just keep your $69 or whatever else. But the question is, how did he get in the system in the first place if you don't care about the money?
Right. And that's why so many men are frustrated. They're getting frustrated because they feel like they don't have the voice. Keep listening to what she's saying. Hold tight. This internet's listening.
A family he got to provide for. I don't need them to take his money to provide for my household. We ain't together. And that's how y'all look at it. Y'all think y'all lay down and plop a baby out that he's supposed to pay your bills all of a sudden. I don't know who the hell told y'all that, because they don't even include your bills in the child support payment. This some shit some woman done came up with. Talking about, that little money he give me, it don't pay half my, it ain't supposed to pay your goddamn bills.
Excuse the language.
If it do, so when he get custody, see, y'all don't look at it that way, because men get custody too. You get custody of the child, you ready to give up half your motherfucking check and still take care of your other kids? Because I guarantee they'll come up. Yeah, you don't want to talk about your kids then, but you don't want him to talk about his other family. When he mentioned his other family, everybody started looking all sideways. But when he get the child, you want to talk about your other kids, you got to take care of, I bet, don't you? Huh? Can you afford to take care of his household and yours? Your children? Okay, think about that shit before you run your ass down there all happy go lucky taking his money, because the tables do turn, baby. Men are getting their kids now. So can you do what he was doing? Can you pay the $5,000? Can you pay the $1,500? Can you pay any of that and still take care of your household? If you can't, you need to just shut up and stop running that goddamn mouth and stop using child support as a harassment tool because your baby daddy moved on. Don't need to talk this to death.
That's part of the bitterness, Chantelle and Ingram, that so many talk about. That's part of death psychology, the cognitive dissonance and the ego syntonia that so many have. What resonated with you, Chantelle, when you heard this angry, vitriolic woman? Not this woman, but some modern women in general. This woman is telling the truth, but a lot of women have that vitriol about child support. What's resonating with you when you hear that?
Well, unfortunately, many of us only know men for their wallets, right? Many, and I want to say Sister Shahrazad Ali mentioned this. when you're younger, when you're a young girl and your dad come around, your mom would always tell you to ask him for some money, right? So we associate men with all they're good for is the money. So when we have the child support talk, why wouldn't you put a man on the money, put the man on child support for the money? Because that's what men are known for. We don't see the other values of a man, right? We don't see his ability to protect us and the good decision making. Again, we're talking about real men, not the on your mama kind of man. Right. So we don't see their value other than their wallet. So that's why you see we run and rush to put men on child support. And if men were supposed to voice their disdain for child support, then you hear, oh, you just a broke dusty. Notice that's what they always go for first, that you broke. No matter what a man will say, they're going to come and say, oh, you broke, because we associate men with their wallet, with money.
Yeah. Many times, Chantelle, many times. Let's listen to this lady real quick, and then we're going to break it down.
Scam has become so normalized that we don't even realize it's a scam anymore.
Pandering to black women. So why do they pander to black women?
Like this, I'm gonna keep it at 1,000 with you. If you ever want to make a lot of money, join the dating industry and give women fluff.
You can literally be an abuser. Say that black men don't like black women, but be married to a white woman. You can say black men are bums and they can't afford to feed their families and they're bumming off black women while simultaneously on this app begging for food, begging to support your family, all the while don't have a job yourself. You can even get on this app and lie and say you're in the schools talking to the teachers and black men are not in there. You can also be an abuser, a woman abuser. You can also be a child abuser, and all while making your content from jail. You can get on this app and say marriage is an enslaved contract and how you would never do it to a woman because they have so much hard and a difficult time getting out of those contracts, but you have no problem with making them baby mamas. I wonder, are you going to tell your daughters that it's okay to be a baby mama and not a wife? You can tell black women that men are all the problem, how you got the answers to everything, all while selling all your merch, all your books, all your card games and stuff, and they'll buy it. Because black women don't care about your reality as long as you're kissing their ass.
Right.
As long as you are telling them that everything's black men's fault, you cannot do no wrong in their book. And they'll justify your bullshit by saying, hey, support the message, not the deliverer. And all this is okay if you pander to black women. If you accuse black men for every single thing in the world that's happening to them, they will ignore your reality.
Yeah, that's part of deaf language. Hold on, because
one of the most important things for women is understanding that even though you're the queen, you're still the king's wife. Your value is in the ability to keep a high value man. I'm sorry that you don't like that, but that's how the world looks at it. And again, I deal in reality. You can be an accomplished woman, but if you're 40, unmarried, no children, the world looks at you as something's wrong. You are judged heavily on the caliber of man you can keep, not get, not deal with, but keep.
Yeah. So what do you guys think about what this brother said? It appears that lying to women now is very profitable. Telling the truth makes you a target. Chantelle, they become enraged with you because you told the truth. You know, you see Big Bertha over there and Tatiana at the bottom. And we're going to go do about why so many become enraged. But before we do it in less than 2 minutes, tell me what you heard from those messages, Chantelle. And then Ingram, I want you to pick it back on it, brother.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that as Black women we just want to be told what makes us feel good, right? Because that goes back to what had you said earlier, the denying it, right? So I want to stay in my denial, I want to stay in my delusion. So whatever makes me feel good, no matter, like as the guy said, that was a very funny video because he had evidence behind it too, right? But regardless of who is telling it, regardless of the Derek Jacksons, and you look at Derek Jackson's life and he's not living the life, but as long as the message makes me feel good.
Makes me feel good, right. Mm-hmm.
And April Mason was 100% right. If you want to make money, you tell women whatever they want to hear. That's why they have all these dating coaches and these dating books and all the books saying the same thing. It's the men's fault. You just have to love yourself. Go find yourself, sis. All of them say the same thing.
Yeah, right. And you know, when you talk about the deaf psychology, one is being enraged. Chantelle, you know, you guys that are listening, Chantelle has been literally under attack. Some have wished death for her life, and so England, we might have to fly out to Dallas with our 6-shooters. You know, that old mouse in the past said, "If you're ever in Texas, look me up." So we're gonna have to look Chantelle up and and get our. we're gonna have to get our 6-shooters with our cowboy hats on with Chantelle, man. We tall too, so they ain't gonna mess with me and Ingram. Me and Ingram, we're gonna get our 6-shooters and put our cowboy hats on. But they become enraged, Chantelle and Ingram, when you present them with the evidence. A lot of it is deflection. Mm-hmm. A lot of it is internalized pathologies. They internalize the pain of their mother. They internalize the pain of the boyfriend that hurt them and lied to them. They have displaced aggression, meaning they put their aggression out on people because you might not be the issue, but you remind them of somebody that hurt them perhaps. And because you're telling the truth, so they displace their aggression on you when they should be taking their aggression out on the target that hurt them. They gaslight because many of them don't want to hear the truth. They will gaslight, Chantelle. And you got to call Iceman to put the gaslighting out. They guilt trip. They minimize, have a lot of minimization. They have introjection where they introject or internalize their pain and think about and let it ruminate. Then they project what they're dealing with. Many are dealing with vicarious trauma, repression, which is a negative ego defense mechanism. Some are aggressive on the negative, which is the id side. The id is the primitive form of the ego. And then many are enraged also because of Roe v. Wade. But what you are seeing up here, Chantelle, and we're gonna get to the part about Roe v. Wade, deflect, internalized pathologies. What's ruminating in your head with all these different variables as it relates to women being deaf? We had the E in the acronym called deaf.
I see the gaslighting a lot. Even someone left a comment, was like, "Oh, it's so sad to see Black women tearing down other Black women." They left a comment saying, "I'm tearing down Black women," and it's like, how? If your titty long, your titty long, right? I mean, I'm just saying, men don't want long titties. It's just a fact. It really is just a fact. So I know it's totally like how it's, but they want me to feel bad going against the sisterhood. But it's like, I mean, no matter what they say, no matter how enraged they want to be, a fact is still a fact, right? So it got nothing to do with me.
No doubt. Ingram, what are you seeing? And then we're going to get to the Roe v. Wade decision. Some are enraged because of that. But what are you seeing, Ingram, based on what you see on the diagram?
Well, in terms of that, what it really is, it's a lack of competitiveness. And when I talk about standards and being competitive and being traditional, they're going to hate any woman that goes against the grain of I call it the hyena programming. Mm-hmm. Any woman that speaks anything truth is they consider that as dissent. They consider that as betrayal. It's like you're deviating from the programming and the code. You're changing the standard. You're changing the narrative, and you're being competitive. And that's something that a lot of Black women don't believe, that they have to compete for Black men. Right. They think that they're entitled to us. I think Angry Man said it last night. They want welfare relationships, basically. You want handouts. And I wouldn't want handout as a man. I want to be the best version of myself, and you want women to select you based on that. But they want relationship handouts. And when they're talking about a standard that traditional women have, they can't compete with that, because all men want a peaceful home. And no matter how good a woman look, if she can't contribute to that, they know that woman is not valuable, especially when there's other women on the market that men can choose from that are more agreeable and more peaceful to be with. But anytime you tell these women the truth, they're going to come at, it's like a pack of them, man. And I always ask them, you want to be a hyena or a lioness? Because what I see is that there's a bunch of men that are simps that are with these women, because we know that men will do anything. These simps will do anything to get laid.
Right.
And if you really want to find out how they really are, you put them in a room full of women they don't even have to be good looking women. They could be halfway decent looking women. And their single mom upbringing comes out. Their simp tendency comes out. They're pandering. They're doing whatever. Like, look at you mentioned the clip about Monique. Look at her simp husband in the back, just watching her destroy her career. And he's sitting there smirking, smiling. I mean, the most disgusting look ever. You see her husband back. I mean, that guy is not even holding it. He's not even stopping it. He's not even protecting her. He's not leading. He's not doing anything. And that's what they expect from men in the Black community. Accept anything, tolerate this list. And when you don't do that, they get angry. They attack women like Chantelle. They attack women like you and me.
Right.
They want to try and silence us, because if any type of movement or any type of new society ever created where we reject that type of mentality, they are no longer competitive. They're no longer a part of that. They have to be left behind, and they don't like that.
Right, and I call it meta madness, Chantelle and Ingram, because it comes from the word metacognitions, and metacognitions in the clinical means what are you thinking about, what you're thinking about. And many times, Chantelle, you had to ask yourself the question, what are these women thinking about when they allow themselves to be impregnated by these men that are derelicts? What are they thinking about because they're wishing death on my life only because I'm telling them the truth? And some have what's called meta madness because they can't see themselves because they are deaf. And that's why these conversations are so important. But Chantelle, let's talk about Roe v. Wade. I know that's a very contentious topic, and but so many are marching and so many are against that. And they're saying that deletion is only under certain safeguards, like the woman's life is at risk, the baby's life is at risk. The person was raped, or there was a victim of molestation, or the child has severe defects. And they're saying under those circumstances, you can get a deletion. I think that's extremely fair. But many are using, deletions as a form of birth control. What's your take on all this foolishness when I think the rulings could be fair, because they say it's their body, but the last time I thought, I didn't think a baby, a woman had 20 fingers, and like Dr. Dunn said, and 20 toes. So that baby has a body and a life too, and also that baby is part of that man's seed. It's half of that man's DNA, is half of that woman's DNA, and so that man has a right to say, "Listen, that's my child. I want my child, and I don't want you to delete my baby." What's your take on this whole phenomenon about Roe v. Wade? Because many are enraged about that as well.
I think it's just a manifestation of women not wanting to take accountability, right? Because if you lay down and you engage in activities that's going to present a baby, and you get a baby, then you're going to have to deal with the consequences, right? I know there are some times when, for example, if a woman was raped, or if it's a life-threatening pregnancy, then of course deleting is acceptable. But again, if we participate in adult activities and we get adult activities consequences, or adult activities results, we're going to have to be adults and deal with the adult activities results. If you don't want adult activities results, protect yourself because there's so many different forms of contraceptive. Now, these liberals who are marching against the decision to overturn Roe v. Wade, I think they're just not, they're failing to acknowledge the fact that many women are using it as a form of contraceptive. Many women are just saying, oopsies, I don't want this child. Let me go and delete it, as opposed to, I don't want a child. Let me do everything in my power, because there's so many things that I can do to not have a child.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No doubt, no doubt. Ingram, what do you think about, in under 2 minutes about this Roe v. Wade decision? And even though the SCOTUS gave out preliminary guidelines to why you should do it, I like something that Dr. Dunder said on the show earlier. He said that unless you have 20 toes and 20 fingers, you shouldn't be complaining about your body, your choice, because that baby has a life too. That baby should have a decision, because half of that DNA is that man's. What's your take on this? The whole outrage about Roe v. Wade.
Well, I think it has to do more with control than anything else, which I understand. Mm-hmm. It has to do with like what Chantelle was talking about in terms of using it as birth control. And ever since sexual liberation, I mean, women have, obviously there's no real, if you can basically lay down and sleep with anybody. And if it doesn't work out, and that does happen, even though there are 30 forms of birth control, that option is always there. But it's about not being able to control sexual behavior and reproduction is a problem, because that means that people will have to think about who they sleep with. And that's a problem for a lot of modern women. They want to be able to sleep with as many people as possible. And if they do something irresponsible, like not use contraceptive, they want to have that option to do that. The problem I have, there's another side of that too, because as much as people are pro-life, the question is, are they pro-life or are they pro-birth? Because life happens after birth. And what happens, a lot of people disappear because these kids have to be properly raised in proper households, nurtured, cared for. And I think if you're going to be pro-life, you got to be pro-life all the way in terms of that development of that child's life. Or, obviously responsibility in terms of comes to the individuals in terms of making that child in the first place. Personally, I know what happens to kids when they're not supervised, don't have proper parenting. That's just somebody else trying to break into my house at night. I don't want nobody's 15, 16-year-old kid, busting in my windows at night, whatever. So it's a difficult balance you have but a lot of what I feel for a lot of the modern women, it's all about using it as a birth control method when they lay down and sleep with bums.
Right. No, I totally agree, man. It's unfortunate. Shout out to Barry Hamilton, I believe, for that. Hold tight. Barry Hamilton sent me a $6.14 super sticker. He said that for great show, Kosher, Ingram, and Chantelle. I appreciate it, Barry Hamilton. Thank you, sir. Let's continue, guys, as we're breaking this information down real quick. Let's continue. Hold tight. Hold tight. This thing is a little slow. All right, hold on, guys. Is it playing?
You know the old saying that a hit dog hollers, well, a hurt man screams, and that's what you have.
I genuinely don't understand this shit, right? I'm not even a fan of Kevin Samuels, right? But you women fucking celebrated that the man died because of shit that he said, right? And then you turn around and you support that dude. He beats the living breaks off of women. He put both of his baby mamas in the fucking hospital. But this is who you show support to. He's a certified demon. But y'all ignore everything that he has done with his fucking actions because you like the sound of the fucking message, even though the message is actually fucking dangerous. Because the men that he's talking about about who men should be like, is like him. But he beats the shit out of women. So when you find a man who is exactly like that dude, that's what you ask for. And you don't deserve protection. Period.
When you tell women to pick better men, what exactly are you telling them?
We're telling them to be responsible for their choices and actions. We're telling them to pick men who are going to be good husband and father material, and don't just pick them simply because they're fun. We're telling them to just be responsible who they jump in and out of bed with. We're telling them that when they do choose a man, think of their kids. And if they're a single mom, think of a man that's going to be a positive role model for their kids. Dude, this is not a Scooby-Doo mystery. You know, it really isn't. Why do we make things that are so simple so hard? Simply because doing the right thing is just inconvenient for us. Our logic tells us one thing and our emotions tell us the other. And our emotions get us in trouble all the time. That is all.
A lot of girls, they see my face on TV so many times that that's what they want. They want to be associated with that person. It's the fame that get these people. It is not me. It's the fame. Because I watched females look at me when they didn't know who I was, and I can see it, nothing. And then as soon as somebody whisper who I was, it's this glare in their eye. You make yourself want that person, you know?
How do you feel about that?
I don't understand how people could stand next to you 1 year, and next year they cannot stand there. They just going crazy screaming. They just can't take it that you're right there. But just last year, I was in the same club, walking around lonely like a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Couldn't get a date. Couldn't get nobody to dance with me. I was too skinny, too something. And now he's just adorable. He's just, oh.
Okay, hold on. All right,
to come for simps, but what y'all fail to realize is that simps are the ones with women in their bed at night.
No, simps are the ones who wish they had women in their bed at night. The men that have women in their bed at night are the ones that leave them pregnant with multiple children. Simps wish they were those guys. And they're not, and they never will be. Even if they do get a little nookie every then, it comes at a very high price. Usually their self-respect. If there were more simping, there will be more self-entitled women, and there will be more men getting used. That is all.
All right. They need simps because simps keep the economy in turmoil. And you got a lot of men that are simps right now, Chantelle, that are married looking like this. There's a lot.
No, hell, man. Oh, my God.
There's a lot of married men, man.
But Kosher, I'm fascinated too because the logic of simps, they think that just because they have a woman in the bed with them, that's success. Whoever created that's logic, because you know there's sexless marriages, and not only that, that could be the most abusive delivery of sex on the planet. You see the difference between a man that's masculine and a man that's a simp. There's charity sex, there's obligation sex, and then there's desire sex, where a woman desires you as a man and jumps into bed with you and wants to have sex with you, as opposed to having sex with you because you pay the bills and she feels obligated because she's married to you. A simp will take the most abusive, disrespectful sex in the world. A masculine man will tell a woman, beat feet, I'm out of here. I'm not taking that crap. And I think that's the fundamental mentality of simps is they're so happy to have a woman that they'll take any type of mediocrity. And consider that winning. And the other thing with the simps is they always get the leftovers.
Right.
You know, like I look even on my Facebook at some of the women that I've dated in college and whatever else. And if they only knew what we did to those women, God bless them. No, cover your ears, Chantelle. They were vigorously and viciously pounded out. And you're getting a woman that's past her expiration date, and she's been pounded out vigorously over the years, and she's making the decision. It's either you or the janitor. No disrespect to the janitors. And she picks you. and she's giving you that marital missionary, and you're happy to get that, and you're going to look at men, well, at least I got a woman. I see these guys like, Jesus Christ, you might as well just go in the McDonald's trash can and pull out a burger. It's a horrible mentality in the community. I mean, these simps are so afraid of being alone. They want to get hugged at night. Let me stop the rant. I'm sorry.
Well, no. You know,
sick, man.
And the one that's leading the brigade, man. You know, it's a lot. You know, it's a lot of Raekwon the Man-Mans and athletes. And that's on my mom.
You gotta put chain on them. Balls on my mom. That be broken balls. Kill some on my mom, bro. They back. You look like
gang. That's on my monkey. Gang. That's on my monkey. Gang. That's on my monkey.
That's on my mom. Chantelle about that, just bouncing.
I'm serious. I've had it with Simps. I've had it with the son husband thing. That's why I had to get off of YouTube. I go on these rants. It is a complete emasculated culture where dudes just take anything. They will sleep with anything. They will celebrate anything as victory, and it's disgusting.
No, I totally agree, man. I totally agree. Let's talk about this, Chantelle. They argue, that's the third acronym of death. They argue the fact men do it too. Your mama is black. The ad hominem attack, meaning they attack the messenger instead of the message. They have rationalization when it's convenient. That's an ego defense mechanism. They rationalize their behavior to justify what's going on. They deny the statistics. Basically, statistics say that black men, many of them, I think over 50%, and there may be other statistics, and it says that they're single and childless. But they always assume the worst when it comes down to black men. They tend to think of the ones like the guys on my mama, because those kind of men personify hypermasculinity many times. And then also they want to get convenient with data when it's against them, or they want to get convenient with the data when it's against them. What's your take on that whole breakdown, Chantelle, about the E in death and death psychology?
Yeah, it's 100% facts. They will argue the facts until God comes. But arguing the facts doesn't change the facts. Again, it takes a level of maturity to take a step back when we're having these conversations, right? I think in their mind, if I was to argue the fact, or the more combative I am, it distracts from facing the fact. Mm-hmm. That's why they argue the fact. Because if we have an hour to have this discussion and you spend 59 minutes arguing the facts, we don't get to face the facts and find solutions. So I think that's just one of their tactics, to just argue the facts. Like, you can't go back and forth with anybody. I learned that early on in my YouTube journey. And then now that I'm over on TikTok is just all fun. TikTok is very fun. There are a lot of delusional people over there.
Right.
But you can't argue with them, because they'll just want to go around and around and around arguing the facts rather than acknowledging it.
No, I totally agree. This is part that we're going to get to in a minute. But Ingram, real quick, what do you think about the breakdown of the E in death? They become enraged when you present them with the evidence. I mean, they argue the facts. They argue the ad hominem attacks, and they attack the messenger instead of the message. What are some of your experiences you've had, Ingram, in situations like that?
Well, what happens is, I think if you can disqualify the messenger, then you don't have to listen to the message. They try to do it. That's why all the shaming tactics and shaming languages that we see commonly used, who hurt you, your mama's black, you know what I mean? Or you're Mr. from The Color Purple. That's a good classic one with black men like myself and other men. And I always say, we're the least dangerous men you have to worry about. Masculine men is not your problem. Mm-hmm. The simps will kill you.
Right.
Because anytime a man has a scarcity mindset and think he can't get a better woman, he's the one who's going to take you out. A guy like me is just going to be like, hey, you're goofy, and then turn around and walk away and head on down the street. But a simp is going to try and possess, and what happens inevitably, going back to the topic, is that they don't want anybody telling them the truth, because that means they have to deal with themselves.
Right.
It's like if I had a a weight problem, or for me, my problem is hanging out in the BJ's bakery. I got to stay out of there. I have a problem, so I have to deal with the truth of that. And if somebody says, Ingram, you have to knock it off, or you're going to get diabetes. I'm not going to rationalize it. I'm not going to, what I mean? I'm just going to have to suck it up and deal with the reality of it and get out of the bakery aisle.
Right,
but
right.
They don't want to be told what to do. They don't want to be told the truth, because that means they have to deal with it. And this is a culture and that we have developed, that people just don't want to deal with their reality. So they create an artificial reality, and it's reinforced, especially with social media, with a lot of enablers, especially for women, because now you don't have to deal with it. Now you have a coalition of support. And I call it the coalition of mediocrity. And it's kind of the worst friends you can have when it doesn't tell you the truth.
No, I totally.
They'll band together and attack people. Chantelle, you see Avery, like yourself, myself, because demonizing people makes it easy to disqualify them. Now I don't have to listen to them. I see them do it with Kevin Samuels. I see them do it with you guys. And that's just the way they are.
Let's go back and look at, Chantelle, we talk about the color purple, but when men get mocked at and picked on, we laugh at it. So let's go back and look at this last part, what Aunt Esther said to Woodrow. Let's listen.
You old fish-eyed fool. You miserable old snagger-tooth jackass. You ignorant old bum. You beady-head old pickle-eyed fool. You are unholy sinner and a heathenish foul Philistine. You bean-eating bear hugger. You a heathen, Fred Sanford. Old senile heathen. I'll unscrew your arm from your shoulder and beat your brains out. You just keep sucking on that sucker. And when I pull your chain, you bark. Woodrow, put that bottle down before I unscrew your wrist. I'd bust your eyeball. Twist his head until it unscrews. I'll get some sticks and stones and break your bones. And the name that'll hurt you will be Esther.
So we talk about Chantelle. Woodrow was totally emasculated, but we laugh at that. We mock that. And but let there have been a man. We tend to glorify on the color purple, but Aunt Esther was known for emasculating Woodrow, but nothing is ever said. I got another part. This is the last part, Chantelle, and I want you guys to look at this as well. And this is talking about, it's the F, the fight or flee. So
somehow men think that women lose value when they've had multiple partners.
Tell me you've been a hoe without telling me you've been a hoe. The reason why is that men don't want, usually these women who've had multiple partners will have multiple babies by many different men. Men don't want to deal with that baggage. That's why, nor should they have to. Don't try to dictate to us what our preferences should be. That is all.
Toxic women love emotional men, meaning men who cannot get control of their emotion. And so you look at your women on Instagram and some of these women that are saying, I want a scammer or a drug dealer, hell with the 9-to-5er. It's over. And it should be over for you. When I tell you I eliminate 80% of the women when I go out, 80% of the women are completely off limits to me because I either know I'm not attracted to them, they're toxic. Like there's a list of things that I would tell you the only possible way is if they came and knocked on my door and said, hey, I'm looking to entertain you tonight for free. Maybe I will think about it. But I can look and judge, and it's okay for me to do so, and say these people are unhealthy for me.
What the fuck, bro? Why the fuck can I get shit right? Fuck, bro! Fuck! Fuck!
Oof. Rough.
You want to hear a double standard between men and women?
If a man can't afford child support, he goes to jail. He'll lose everything he has: job, home, car, security. If a woman can't afford child support, she gets put on welfare, food stamp, housing assistance, free medical care. Men just get told to suck it up and work harder. And when we do work harder, we get hit harder for it. Being a man who is driven to succeed in his career comes with a punishment. Women want to go for custody, they don't have to pay a goddamn dime. Men want custody, starts at $5,000 and can go up to in excess of $30,000 and take years to accomplish.
All right, hold tight, guys.
I literally said to Jada, that's it. I retire. I retire from trying to make you happy.
That's the fight or flee. Hold on.
Oh, shit.
To my queens out there that have been cheated on by their men, it's not your fault. Stop making it.
You can't make this shit up.
You can't make it up.
I know this motherfucker didn't.
King Toxicity here with a message for my men. She don't want to settle. Let her die alone. Most of these hoes have lost their husbands somewhere in their friend zone.
Start blaming ourselves. Like, I hate when people talk about black women being obese. I hate it. Because it becomes a way to blame us for a set of conditions that we didn't create.
Sister Big
We're
Bones.
moving, we're taking care of kids, but our food quality suffers. We are living in the Trump era. And look, those policies kill our people. You can't get access to good health care, good insurance. The research says that black women, when we do the same diets as white women, we lose less weight and we lose it slower, even when we're following the diet, than our white women counterparts. And what public health practitioners think is that our stress responses in the body change our metabolism. It's literally that the racism that you're experiencing and the struggle to make ends meet actually means the diet don't work for you the same.
Why don't they fed in Africa and Rwanda? But watch this, so Chantelle gonna get them. Okay, guys, here's the exalted lines. I had to bring the exalted lines in, guys. she is the woman version of the Bible. The exalted line is gonna get them. She said the devil is a liar with the long titties, So the exalted line is gonna break it down. Hold tight.
A long list of expectations and requirements from a man. And when men say, okay, we want fit, feminine, and friendly, we throw a fit and say, who cares what men want? They're going to cheat anyways. If we say we want men and we want healthy relationships with our men, shouldn't we at least care what they want from us? Could it be that they cheat because we don't hear what they want? Cue the pick me comments.
All right, so the last one is fight or flee. Hold tight, because Ingrid, we're going to have to call the fruit of Islam for Chantelle. The last one is fight or flee. Let's keep moving too fast. All right. So they fight you, Chantelle, or flee. I want you to tell the audience about what you've been through. You said that your life has been threatened by men. I don't know why this thing keep going back, man. Hold on, guys. But you said your life has been threatened, Chantelle. Hold tight.
In the body.
Hold tight. So Chantelle, you did a stream. You did a stream earlier talking about Sister Big Bones, and we know that that muscle mass weighs more than fat. We understand that part. Some would say the BMI is a flawed index to some degree, but what's up with the big bone theory? What's your take on the big bone theory? And so many using that as an excuse to be big, because you got women that live in Rwanda and other countries where they're under a lot of stress as well, but they walk, they eat natural food, they eat off the land. But a lot of women use that as an excuse. What say you about the foolishness about, it's the diet and the stress? And we know the stress could play a role, but what's your take on that, Chantelle?
Yeah, it's just a bunch of excuses. That doesn't make logical sense. Again, when a lot of liberals say, when they talk through their emotion and they piece words together without thinking through it. Weight loss comes down to the basic calories in versus calories out. It doesn't matter your race. Yes, stress can, when you have a high cortisol level, it lowers your ability to burn fat. So if you are stressed out, then yeah, you can it can slow down your ability to burn fat, but it doesn't stop you from burning fat. Now, that young lady in the video, a blind man can tell that she never dieted a day in her life. Like, you know, like the amount of stress that she gotta go under to get to that weight is significant. But it's just an excuse. And that whole big bone, we say that the BMI chart is racist, so we can stay fat. The live stream I did earlier, the content creator was 227 pounds, and she's saying the BMI chart is racist. Like, there's no reason why a woman should be 227 pounds. That's
right,
a lot,
right. I agree with that. Right.
And even if we want to give her that, like, yeah, the BMI chart is racist, it didn't force feed you to get to 227 pounds. So again, it's just denying facts, like what we just covered. You know, it's like they're trying to distract from the fact that you are fat. Because this young lady, the woman in the video who said it's racism why she is fat, she's just trying to deny or distract from the fact that she is fat. So no matter what reason you're fat, you're fat. Let's talk about it. But again, they try to deflect. They're trying to move the goalposts.
Yeah. The BMI, some say, is definitely not a perfect index. But I agree with you. There's no reason that you're 37 pounds. I mean, you and England are both from the Caribbeans, and people are not that big. One, because you guys walk a lot, you eat food from the land. The chickens are not big as your hand, big as a human. They're small. Most chickens in the Caribbean is about the size of both of your hands put together. Probably like Cornish hens because they are organic fed. But it's a lot of, cognitive dissonance once again, and they are deaf, and they want to, like you said, continue to make excuses. Shout out to Donald Wayne Harrell for that $5 super sticker. Thank you, sir. And then also shout out to Donald Wayne. He said that if the diet is racist, then use a different diet, no doubt. But I want you guys to finish listening to Chantelle because her life has been threatened. And I'm going to let Chantelle talk about it. This internet is moving a little slow, guys. Hold tight.
Relationships with our men. Shouldn't we at least care what they want from us? Could it be that they cheat because we don't hear what they want? Cue the pick me comments.
All right. So they fight or flee. So you've been fought against, Chantelle. Tell the audience about the death threat that was put on your life. They threatened to take your life some, and they fight or flee through aggression, escapism, death threats, vindictiveness, hypervigilance, and they fight or flee, which is a response. When people get in fights, they fight or flee. And normally that's a survival mechanism that a lot of them are dealing with. But some of them are taking on a fight. They shouldn't even be involved in the first place. If they would do the introspection and look within themselves, it wouldn't be a fight. But what do you, Ingram, say about the fight or flee mechanism as it relates to aggression, escapism, death threats, vindictiveness, hypervigilance, and the fight or flee? And tell the audience what you've been dealing with. And my heart goes out to you because some have actually threatened your life. Talk about it.
Thank you. It honestly don't faze me. As I said, with TikTok, it's more like a trolling. It's more like, ha, 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 you're fat. Kind of, because it's like the fight or flee. Some of them will fight. They'll try to say hurtful things. One had said that, look what happened to Kevin Samuels. It's going to happen to, like just saying, rejoicing Kevin Samuels' death. One has said they wish I hope I get COVID or something that will take my life. And a lot of women over there saying that they hope that I get cheated on or abused, so I will be scarred and hate men too. Or you have the ones who flee, who will come over and say, you don't know what you're talking about. And then, I consider that fleeing, like they're not trying to face the facts. So it's just, again, as I said, they don't really faze me. It's just, it validates what I'm saying, though, because if I was not speaking the truth, then you had no reason to be triggered, right? So like, how hurt you gonna have to be threatening someone that you don't know on YouTube? And most of them don't even have a picture as their thumbnail, right? So it's like, I just can only imagine, like, I'm not gonna get fazed by a group of women who are just so hurt that they got to take it out on YouTube.
Right. The escapism, how much of it do you think is escapism, Chantelle?
Like them trying to escape the truth?
Yes, ma'am, right.
Yeah, I think majority of it is them trying to escape the truth because, as I said, if you fat, you fat. If you're titty long, you titty long, right? So if you want to fight or flee, your titty still long. But they're just trying to escape the truth. Now, one thing I always say is, I'm not trying to change anybody's mind. I'm not trying to force anybody to see a different perspective. I'm just presenting the perspective. If you want to see it, that's on you. So if you want to continue escaping the truth, it does not affect my life.
Ingram, what do you say about what Chantelle is saying in the last F in the acronym, fight or flee?
I think she's perfectly on the money. And I think in that prior video with the big lady, that's the suspect that's been threatening. It seems like the culprit, you know what I mean? But that's the type of mentality that you have with people in the community. When anybody that speaks truth, especially women that are talking about taking care of themselves, being the best version of themselves, adding value to a man's life as that man should add value to their life as well. Those types of things are not talked about, especially in the Black community, because it's completely one-sided. If you listen to the large lady, I'm trying to be nice tonight and politically correct, of course. I mean, she's not going to talk about, her eating a whole baked can of Grand's biscuit covered in honey in the morning every day before she go to work, downing that with a nice, latte loaded with sugar. She's not going to say that. And then she eats probably 5-6 times a day. The problem is they get angry at women like Chantelle because they lack the discipline, first of all. Right. Like a woman like that lacks discipline. And she wants to lower standards and not take responsibility. Even me in my personal life, I do intermittent fasting. I eat like once or twice a day, and I get up in the morning, probably about 5-6, I have to go to the gym. So it takes a lot of hard work and discipline to do those things. People like her want to lower standards. People like Chantelle wants to raise standards.
Right.
And they're going to hate anybody that wants to raise those standards. Like I said, I see those women all the time. I see those women all around the community, all around the neighborhood. They have the same mentality, the same idea. Like I said, they want relationship welfare from Black men. And I've always told women, and they get mad at me, is this. Any man that values you is not going to want to be with a woman that no other man wants. I don't want to be with no woman that no other man wants. And if a man's self-esteem is so low that he's comfortable with you sitting around looking like a hippo or a rhino, it's because he feels insecure within himself that some other man may come take you, and he doesn't want you to be the best version of yourself. He's trying to hold you hostage. And a lot of these simps do that. They'll let women sit around, eat all day, swell up, don't say anything to them. And like I said, simps are dangerous. Masculine men are not your problem. That's why women, they think the Manosphere and Kevin Samuels and all that stuff, that's not your problem. The problem is that guy who says to you, I can't live without you. You're the light of my life. Run. I always tell women, run from that guy. That's a dangerous guy. Right. A guy like me that see you swelling up on the couch is going to tell you, you got to get up on your ass, go get to the gym and go take care of yourself. I can't. That's a reflection of me as a man. I can't be having those swole up women out there in public. I'm like, hey, they'll be asking me, what am I doing? What am I on? And that sounds terrible. Maybe it sounds a little bit, but nobody that really cares about you is going to just let you just go down and look like a piece of crap and not say anything about it or do anything about it. And I think that's the problem with our community. We don't look at the world like that. So that's why we always come after people that tell the truth, that hold a standard, like Chantelle's doing. Those are hyenas, don't like that. They don't like it. They want to keep the culture the way it is. They want to keep low standards the way it is. Because if you don't have to compete for Black men and Black women, we end up in this swirl of mediocrity that we've been living in. And that's the fundamental issue that you have in the culture. That's why, I tell a man, do what's best for you. Pick the best person for you, regardless of race, creed, or color. Because at the end of the day, you're going to have to live in the house with that man or that woman. And if that woman is a demon or that man is a jacked up dude, your life is going to be the one to suffer and nobody's going to care about it.
Right. I totally agree. This is the last part, guys. And Chantelle, how much longer you got, sweetie, before you got to go? How much more time?
I got 15 minutes.
Okay, great. All right. That's perfect. Perfect. Hold tight.
So this is another example of how these bitter Black women will wish the worst on someone they don't even know just because I'm promoting more two-parent households in the Black community. This is to highlight how these Black women are keeping us down in society. A child who's born in a two-parent household has a higher chance of being successful than the ones who are born in single-parent household. Why not start promoting two-parent households? Why not start telling our young ladies to only reproduce with men who are responsible enough to be fathers? Why get mad at me for trying to spread that message to the point where you're wishing that something happens in my life that will leave me traumatized and as bitter as you? Let's start highlighting this behavior, because for so long we get to hear about how Black men ain't sugar honey iced tea, but everybody turns a blind eye to these Black women who are keeping us at the bottom. Now, everybody doesn't want to get married, and that is absolutely fine. But why can't those of us who want to get married and want to be a wife have the conversation in peace? Why can't we share our desires of wanting to be a submissive wife to a Black man without so many women coming at us, calling us pick-me's and calling us weak? And like, why can't we agree that, yeah, you have your desires to never get married, I have my desires to be married, and we just move along and live our life and mind our business? Somebody's gonna be in my comment section talking about, oh, men are cheaters and he gonna cheat anyways, and you wait and see. Like, why y'all so bitter? She does not know me from a can of paint, but she's hoping and praying that I experience something that's gonna leave me scarred and as bitter as her, just because I said men like fit, feminine, and friendly. This is a toxicity that's in our community. She is a representation of the many Black women who will wish the worst on another Black woman just because they are happy in a relationship and don't want to be as angry and bitter towards Black men. Let's start highlighting this toxic behavior that's in our community. For years and years, we get to hear about how Black men are cheaters, Black men are abusive, Black men aren't good leaders, but nobody's talking about this toxic mindset. Remember, she doesn't know me, but she's wishing the worst on my life.
There you guys have it. You know, they're wishing the life on death of Chantelle Simone, and a lot of it's due to scheme afflictions. Top Gun call it the granny serpent, but a lot of it is. And Chantelle, close your eyes, sweetie, because it's also ego syntonia. And that's how we got here. We here now, Chantelle. And Chantelle, before you leave, we're going to talk about solutions in Ingram. We're going to sign off in a minute. But 9th Street, 18th Street, I might drop the link for a few minutes, but Ingram got to go, and I got to go too. I got to eat. But before we leave, Chantelle, thank you, dear, for coming on. I love your energy. You're so fun. I've never laughed so hard, man. I'll be laughing super hard when you come on the street, man. You and I were getting in trouble when we were in school, man. We'd be sitting beside each other. They'd be sending us, kicking us out of class. But we talk about something that's very powerful, and you know, we need solutions.
This is the part of the show where we find solutions.
All right, starting with Chantelle and then Ingram. What is the solutions moving forward for women that want to be married, but also for men that demand higher from their women?
I missed the last part. Also for men who what?
Also for men that demand higher or more for their women.
So the solution for women who want to get married is we got to get real with ourselves, right? We got to look in the mirror and face the facts and see what it is for. Many of us weren't raised to be wives. We weren't taught how to submit to cater to a man. So we got to look in the mirror and acknowledge that, yeah, we don't know what the hell we're doing, and then start finding out information, start doing the work to better ourselves. For men who want to demand higher, y'all just gonna have to get comfortable with the possibility that you won't get married, that you won't find a woman. And I think once you're comfortable with that possibility, then you won't settle. Because a lot of men, if you enter the dating market too desperate, you just want a woman, then you tend to like settle and to like, negotiate certain things and look over certain things. But if you go and say, you know what, this is what I want, and I accept that there's a possibility that I might not find a traditional submissive woman, accept it and go out in the dating market with your standards. I think for too long, women had their long list of expectation and their standards, and men just wanted a hot plate. That's all most men say, feed me and I'm fine, right? But it's time for us to switch that. It's time for us to for men to have their long list of requirements now.
Ingram, what are the solutions for men moving forward? You heard that very brilliant expose by Chantelle. But what are the examples for men as we move forward? What are the solutions moving forward?
Well, the solutions for me, I look at it more from a capitalistic mentality. And here's what I mean by that. That's why I came up with the term relationship capitalism. And first of all, men need to invest in themselves on a personal level. Guys should be going to the gym. Guys should be working out. Guys should be taking care of their money. Guys should be taking care of their mental health. I mean, you're on the internet. The Kosher Connection is here. You offer diagnostic counseling. Guys should be getting themselves in the proper position, first of all. The second thing is this. My mentality is different from most men. If I go to a store and they give me bad service, which you get in certain communities and certain women, I don't stand outside complaining. I just don't come back.
Right.
I take my business elsewhere. There's Black women throughout the world. There's good sisters here in America like Chantelle. I believe in relationship capitalism, and a man needs to get the best value he can. I'm not broke. I can jump on a plane, go to Africa, I can go to Jamaica, I can go to anywhere in this world. I'm not limited to just American women. And that's the mentality you have to have as a man. And that gets rid of that scarcity mindset. And the other thing, I think you need to create a new society, because women also need support, because you can't just have a woman and she's in a relationship with you and she doesn't have a coalition of other like-minded women to support her, because what they're going to do is isolate her and they're going to attack her, and what they're going to do is try to break her down. But if it's a whole tribe of women that think like-minded, like Chantelle and other women, then you have a culture, because I'll be honest with you, there's too much trashiness in the current Black culture that poisons the mind of women and men. We have a simp culture with men, and that's a weak society. So that's my philosophy. I don't look, I see a hyena, I run. I don't even, as big as I am, tall guy like me, I split. So the women don't have to worry about me. They call me all kinds of names, whatever. But at the end of the day, once I realized that a woman is a radical feminist and has certain mindsets, you ever see a big guy move fast? I move fast. I'll be like, I wish you farewell, have a good day, wonderful, enjoy yourself, shake her hand and split. Because I know what that energy is going to lead to, because everything you say to them or do is going to be an attack. And there's a coalition of them, like they're doing with Chantelle and Avery and all the other women. Those women need to band together and form their own tribe with like-minded men and separate themselves and support each other.
No doubt, I totally agree. Chantelle, thank you, dear. If you need me, Ingram, we'll take a first-class flight down to Texas with our 6-shooters, and we'll be singing that song. If she's ever in Texas, look me up. We'll look you up in Texas and make sure you get protection. But I'm proud of you. Keep doing the good work. Like I said, my niece got married yesterday. Go back, Chantelle, and look at that show that I did with the Angry Man. You will see her with her Ghanaian prince. Handsome young man. I'm very proud of both of them. And she got married at 24, man. You know, she got a nice home. He's an engineer, and he's also, he was in the Army. So she got a 5-star recruit in my mind, and I'm happy for her. And so once again, dear, thank you. Keep working hard, man. You know, just be careful when you lift them squats. I saw you on TikTok. Make sure they ain't come behind you with them long titties to cut you. We don't want to take them with them titties, Chantelle. Take them titties and cut you up.
Well, that linebacker come out somewhere and blitz you. You know what I mean? In the gym, they come that one talking about, you know, how, you know, whatever, how it's not her fault that she's that big. I'm like,
I think I'm safe in the gym, though. I think the gym is the one place.
I think you're safe in the gym too. Just make sure when you squat, make sure you keep your back to the wall. Anyway,
thank you, guys.
Thank you, big girl, sweetie. Thank you for coming on. Thank you, dear.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you, Chantelle.
I'm out of here, man. All right.
Yeah. I'm about to sign off too, man. It's been a good stream, man. Thank you for supporting the stream, man.
No problem, man. Anytime, man. I enjoy, you know, like I said, I got to support women like Chantelle because they're trying, you know what I mean? And they're surrounded by a lot of forces in the community, a lot of forces with the mentalities of the people today that are just toxic and just destructive. And it's all about they're fighting for things that are not good for them. Being big, fat, being disagreeable, argumentative, being problematic. Like they fight for things that are just useless, that are just detriment. So
right. No, I
totally. Thanks for having me on, man.
Yeah. Much love, man. And thank you for the support, guys. And we're gonna be signing off. So, guys, if you got mental health issues, go take care of them. This has been another good stream. 18 Life, man. I'll come back on at some point, brother. I'm gonna sign off, man. I gotta eat, man. But we want you guys to be happy. We want you guys to be safe. And at the end of the day, guys, we want to continue to empower men. And I need you guys to remember this. If it ain't 7, it ain't kosher. If it ain't kosher, it ain't right. We're signing off, guys. Love you, brothers and sisters, that support the stream. More content coming, but I will need to take a sabbatical at some point to focus on what I need to focus on. Be well.
Pain. I've been there, locked up inside my head, broken from fear, illusions, disappointment, and hopelessness. Who heard me in my silence, where being a man means nothing? Despair. I've been there too, desperately seeking answers for the questions associated with manhood, hills and valleys, too bleak to compare. Stress, suffering in a utility silo, no comfort, no security, no freedom, no justice, just do it for others. Challenges, who will help me break the challenges? Lost in the vortex of darkness, hopelessness, fear, and abandonment. I've been there too. I've been there too. Take the next step to your destiny. Join me in this fight. Walk forward. Deep breaths. Head held high, men. Come join me, men, in the winds of time. Stories, hopes, visions, purified in the fire. I'm not a superhero, and I'm not the Reverend Knight. I'm here to help you. Join me, men, in this fight. Break the chains of your mind. Let's do it now. For now, it's all we have.
Fire for your mind. The kosher clinician.
In the morning, you got me up all cause you need to talk. To 4 in the evening, wanna break up, say that you've had enough. I'm tired of talking, again and again, argue about everything. You are my darling, this kiss and make up, I know you wanna touch. You call me every night, call me every day, I just wanna get you alone now. Trust me when I say like I work in finance. God bless, no, it's not by chance. Don't dab me, you're not my man. Don't at me, you're not my man. Mama said don't buy it if you cannot buy it twice. I cop by the tools and I don't pump fake with the price. Always on the grind, I put in work with all my might. I know that he got me, not by sight. Yeah, 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 yeah. I skirt like Venice, I slide out Landis, all black like Pandering. Fit 4 days, that's for sure though. Grinding from the grip, no shame, take a photo. Time to take a trip, we head north to the border. Say you feeling up, I'm my favorite type of hoarder. I got kids to feed, I got enemies, I got guys give, so they envy me. Got some friends down Memphis like I'm Aubrey. Got some friends fought for orange like them autumn leaves. Yeah, 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 yeah. I skirt like Venice, I slide out Landis, Vito Benji, all black like Batman. Yeah, 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 yeah. I skirt like Venice, I slide out Landis, Vito Benji, all black like Batman. All black like Batman. All black like Batman. All black like Batman. All black like money line, I'ma run it every time. Give me mine, going up, need no decline. Money line, I'ma run it every time. Give me mine, going up, need no decline. Yeah, yeah. Why check Castro, yeah, I need my ass. Why check Castro, yeah, I need my money line. Why check Castro, yeah, I need my money line. Why check Castro, yeah, I need my money line. Watch out for those who surround you, need no funny kind. You can't see what's on my brain, I live inside my mind. Out of space and out of sight, you need me in my line. Need no face, don't need no phonies, no, no, no. Need no snakes, no only homies down for show. On go, go, go. Get a book and get the front end, we load up and roll, roll, roll. I got kids, yeah, I got staff, I make a little need more, more, more. I sell records, you sell packs, not on my level, no, no, no. I'm a pop star, I'm a rock star, I'm a winner. Think I'm not hard, you smoke rock, car waste, man, why you dumb? I'm with airline, we on airlines like we on the run. I'm with Tay, girls run up on me, they done. Money line, I'ma run it every time. Give me mine, going up, need no decline. Money line, I'ma run it every time. Give me mine, going up, need no decline. Yeah, yeah, why check Castro, yeah.